You know, I talk a lot about trolls on this page because I don't understand society anymore. And the thing is trolls on social media aren't necessarily trolls on social media anymore either. This is carrying over into regular people out on the street now. They're all just jerks. Got a call last night. I did a service on a lawnmower back in March. It's June now. And he said, yeah, you worked on my lawnmower last March, and all of a sudden it's smoking. White smoke. And I said, oh, okay, well, I don't remember, because it was like 6 o'clock at night. Can you refresh me on what I had worked on? Yeah, you changed the oil in the filters and you adjusted the valves. Okay, back in March? Yeah, back in March. And he said, what kind of oil did you put in it? Assuming that the oil that I put in it must make it smoke. I said 5W30 synthetic, which is what all the manufacturers are telling us to use now. Oh yeah, that's good oil, yeah. I said, look, I know you're not going to believe me, but there is nothing I did to your lawnmower that would make it smoke now. I said, it's most likely a bad head gasket. Well, at the time, I didn't remember who it was or what lawnmower it was or anything. So I looked it up. Yeah, it's a 20-year-old lawnmower. It was made in 2006. And I just did the standard, you know, service. I went back and watched the video from my other channel that's not been released yet. Standard service. I had AI analyze the video just to make sure I didn't do anything wrong. Nothing I did wrong in the video. But he wanted me to pay for a serious issue with the lawnmower. It needs a head gasket. Or it could need a what is it I'm trying to think of here? A valve seal. You know, adjusting the valves, and that's what he was trying to stress, is adjusting the valves would do nothing to make it smoke. If I over tighten them, or I guess it made them too loose, they would the engine wouldn't turn over. It'd be too much compression. It just wouldn't turn over when you try to start it. If they were too tight, you'd lose power and it would be backfiring. So if it was leaking oil, then he would have said, well, there's oil all over my garage floor. But he didn't say that either. He said it was smoking. He said it was a quart low. Well, if it's quart low, then that means it's already fried. You've already fried the engine. So it's not a quart low. What it is the dipstick is probably down to the add mark, which is about 8 ounces. About a cup of oil. So that's not a quart. Secondly, if he added a quart of oil to that add line, which he would have it completely overfilled, and that would cause it to smoke white smoke. So once I got him to realize there's nothing I did. Oh, okay, well, yeah, can I run it for the rest of the season? I said, well, yeah, it might foul up the spark plugs, but yeah, you can run it. Okay, I'll run it the rest of the season. I might take it over to you to have it fixed. So, you know, just there was trolling behavior. Starting out the conversation with basically I ruined his lawnmower because I put oil in it. I adjusted the valves so it would run better. You know, just standard service stuff. Stuff you're supposed to do in a service. But apparently it happens all over the world, all the time, to mechanics. And it is frustrating. I mean, you know, people hit things with a lawnmower and then say, yeah, you worked on my lawnmower last month and now it's completely, it won't do anything. Okay, well, let me take a look at it. And you know, everything's been destroyed. He has completely hit something. I was watching YouTube videos and I realized there's a lot of drunk drivers out there on lawnmowers. So I wonder if that's what they're doing, is they go out there, they start drinking. I mean, I repaired a lawnmower a few days ago and I watched him use it after he was done with it. I mean, within 2 seconds, no, maybe not 2 seconds, 2 minutes, let's say 2 minutes of him turning that lawnmower on, he hit something. It was just a terrible sound. And I just fixed up the deck I'm like, all right, well, that's why the deck was ruined the first time. But I have this new warranty program now, so it's going to really protect me from having to fix things over 10 years old, because I put it in warranty. Nothing's warranted after 10 years. And then, you know, if you run into something and it's impact damage, I'm not warranting it. And labor, you know, that's going to be my call, whether it's labor or not. If it was just a failed part, you know, I can return the part, but I'm going to get paid for putting it back on. And I know that's okay. I know that the troll is going to say, that's terrible. If you put it on there, that's your responsibility. I had a Cavalier back in 2004, Chevy Cavalier. I took it in and got a wheel bearing replaced. And within a month, that same tire was wobbling again. So I took it back, and it was a Goodyear shop. Pretty reputable, had lots of customers. And they replaced, you know, they warrantied the part, but they didn't warranty the labor, so I had to pay for the labor. That was like $200, and back then that was pretty steep for something I already paid for a month ago. So, I mean, mechanics do pay for labor for failed parts. So, made a video the other day about doing laundry on partly cloudy days, and it's difficult. Of course, that day the generator messed up, and so I spent more time talking about the generator than I did about the well. But essentially, on partly cloudy days, I have to run the generator, so I got enough electricity to run the well pump to fill the IBC tank up, run the wash machine. And it really depends on how the sun is working, whether I really need to do it or not. See, the batteries, they're getting old, and I admitted that in that video, that they're getting old. And so the batteries can't compensate quite as well as they used to. And I was trying to explain that on the video, but of course we had an issue with the generator. The spark arrestor got clogged up. And I was trying to figure out what was wrong with it on video, which was a bad idea, but that's what I did. Anyway, it reduced the amount of volts the generator was producing. So on a cloudy, it's hard to explain. I don't know why I can't seem to get this out correctly. On a partly cloudy day, when the sun comes out, the generator is not doing any work. The battery charger's like, well, I don't have to do anything, so it shuts off. And the solar panels do all the work, so I can fill the water up. But right in the middle of filling the water up, cloud covers the sun, the batteries start to go down, and the battery charger kicks on. So the generator's all of a sudden picking up pace, and it's just not a fun day on a partly cloudy day to do laundry. I'd rather either have it completely cloudy or completely sunny. But some days you just got to do laundry on a partly cloudy day. So this genius, you know, knows everything. I've been living off grid almost 7 years now. He knows everything. You know, he's watched plenty of YouTube videos, so he knows more about off-grid living than anybody else on the planet. He tells me exactly what I need. I need a solar 12-volt pump. Okay, great. I need a solar 12-volt pump. So, on a partly cloudy day, how do I get enough sun to fill the tank with the 12-volt pump? I still got to have electricity being produced from somewhere. So your solution doesn't solve my problem. Besides that, my pump is actually pretty efficient. I'm happy with my pump. I got a 100-foot well pump. It's 110, and it works great off the solar panels. I've never complained about it. The other thing is if we follow his process, he seems to think he understands how life works, but when you buy an old piece of property like this with an old well and a fallen down trailer, you have to make some concessions. And I recognize the well is not a modern day well. It's not dug very deep. Back in the 70s, they dug them about 130 feet. Of course, sediment fills in over the next 50 years, and now it's about 100 feet deep. But there's only about 30-foot water column in there, 6 inches around. There's not a lot of water in that column. So you can't run the pump full blast. So on the 12-volt pump, you would be running it full blast with his setup. So this means he spent tens of thousands of dollars for his setup. I spent less than $1,000 on mine. And that's the thing, you know, in order for these people to do anything, you got to spend tons of money. I mean, Elon Musk type of money is what they're saying. And the dog can't seem to make up mind where she wants inside or out today. So, you know, he's explaining to me how my pump is just all messed up. My solar panels are all messed up. I don't know what I'm doing. I've done fine for 7 years. I don't know why I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, apparently if you run a generator off-grid, you're not off-grid. But what I don't think people understand is every off-grid has a generator. I mean, there was an off-grid couple, I think they've moved. I'm sure they've moved. They lived off-grid, solar panels. It was cloudy for months or weeks on end, and their batteries died finally. And they said, we need a generator. Has anybody got one? Okay, so there was an off-grid couple who realized you can't live off-grid totally without a generator. It's just not possible. Maybe if you move to, I don't know, Arizona or something where there's just full sun all the time, maybe. But anywhere else in the country, you got rain and clouds. So you have to adapt. And I'm quite happy with what I got. I mean, I'm not upset. But here's the one that always bugs me. They always seem to think they understand my IBC tank. Now, on a regular basis, usually daily, I go out and fill the IBC tank. I certainly do it on sunny days. Cloudy days like today, I'll probably skip it. In the summertime, if I'm washing a lawnmower, I'll turn on the big generators so I can pressure wash the lawnmowers. And then I'll just go ahead and fill the IBC tank up because well's already hooked up to the generators. Doesn't take that long. But most of the time, I just wait for a sunny day. And if I do it daily, I don't even need a sunny day. I can do it on a partly cloudy day because I don't need a lot of water. But what they always say, and this is when I realize they have no idea what they're doing. None. They don't even come close to understanding the concept. Whether they got a 12-volt pump, an AC pump, a DC pump, it doesn't matter. They have no clue what they're doing because, you know what? If you live off-grid, that means you are supposed to be able to stay inside your cabin and never walk outside of it. Your system should be as automated as the Ford company. Robots doing everything for you. So, and they always say this, I just love it. You need a float system. So when your IBC tank gets down to a certain level, it automatically kicks on. Kind of like a toilet where the float comes down, your tank fills up with water, and then it comes back up and it shuts off. So all that is an electrical switch, turning your pump on and off. That's all it is. Okay, great, that's a good idea. We all should do that immediately. And as soon as somebody goes to the restroom at midnight, you're going to be outside starting a generator. Whether you have a 12-volt pump or a regular pump, it takes so much energy that your batteries in the middle of the night are going to go down. And it's going to shut off your electric. You just can't handle that kind of electricity at night. You would need a massive battery bank. One that you're going to have to replace, you know, every 10, 15 years. Of course, he says, you need more solar panels. So it doesn't matter. In the middle of the night, more solar panels don't do anything. There's no solar. And I don't even understand this. I mean, these trolls, they know everything. Just like they do in real life. You changed oil, so it's obviously your fault that my engine is now smoking on a 20-year-old lawnmower that should last for the rest of my eternity. People are so aggravating to me. And I'm the crazy one. That's the thing, is that people will tell me I'm the crazy one. You know, you need to go out and socialize. It's not healthy staying in your house like this. No, it's not healthy. People lying to you all the time. People being smarter than you all the time. People being more arrogant than you and all the time. And the thing that bothers me the most is 90% of them have beer in one hand and a illegal cigarette in the other hand. And they're totally functional. They can't go through life without a crutch because, you know, their life depends on crutches. But a guy who doesn't drink, doesn't do any of that, drinks coffee. I mean, I drink probably more coffee than I should. Don't smoke. I'm the crazy one. I can get through life without all that stuff. I can be on a submarine. Oh, you're crazy for being on a submarine. I would never do that. It's just, what are you talking about? You are not my guide. If you need those crutches, don't speak. If you're up at midnight, half sloshed, typing on your keyboard about how stupid I am, while you're telling me that I need a float in my tank, so when I go to the bathroom, I have to go outside and start the generators, no thank you. I'll do it my way. So if you'll click this up next box, take the video over to my other channel, we'd appreciate it. Go check it out. So I hope I can inspire you to get away from them. Because believe it or not, they're terrible. So you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.